Hey friends, how's it going? Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're doing well. Hope you're doing fantastic. Just so good. Today I got for you 10 different fragrances, technically 11, but 10 just sounds better. 10 different fragrances that you need in your life. Yeah, you've got that gaping hole in your soul, you know, you just feel unfulfilled. People aren't loving you. You haven't got that promotion at work. No worries.
You are unworthy of these realms. You're unworthy of your title. You're unworthy!
These fragrances will solve that for you. So yeah, I've got 11 different fragrances here to share with you guys that I think you should know about. A lot of these are not super well known, but all of them are really solid. If you want to check out any of the fragrances I talk about, they're down in the description. Let's get it kicked off with this one, Mandarine, that's backwards, from Precious Liquid. This is a fragrance made by the owner perfumer, Richard Erpont. He's a personal friend of mine, so I am biased with this one. Even if I tell myself that I'm not biased, I am biased, right? That's how it works, you know? Because it's your friend, so yeah. This is one though that I've liked for a very long time, ever since the first time that I smelled it. It's priced at, I believe, $125 retail, which is not too bad when you consider the quality here. The name lets you know what's going on. Mandarin orange. It's a really high quality citrus scent. It's very smooth, has kind of a green feel to it around the edges, like a touch of herbaceousness. It's a really nice natural scent profile to it. It's not too sweet. It's not too tart. It's just kind of like that perfect, very classy smelling, almost soft, fluffy citrus that still has just a little tinge of that zing, a little effervescence to it. Really well done. Love this in spring and summer, and this is one you can go insanely heavy with and you're gonna be good. It doesn't really matter. Like, I've done 20 sprays of this, and I'm not somebody who says you gotta overspray everything all the time, every time, because I think that doesn't really work. It should be dependent on where you're going, what you're doing, who you're gonna be around, you know, the situation, the fragrance, all that has to be taken into account. So if you just say, spray 25 times with every fragrance no matter where you're going, that's not really setting yourself up for success in the best way, right? Certain times you maybe want to do something a little bit differently. You know what I mean? It's almost like with, what were those dudes called? Pickup artists. Couldn't remember what that was. Pickup artists. It was like really popular back, I don't know, like a decade or more ago, where guys would dress up in super flamboyant costumes, basically. It wasn't like normal clothing, and they would just be really flamboyant in general, trying to get all that attention. Maybe in like certain situations, that's good, but if you're going to a funeral, if you're going to a business event, if you're going on a date, maybe you don't want to do the whole pickup artist thing, you know what I mean? That kind of clothing and personality. Same thing with fragrances. Sometimes it's good to be just crazy loud with what you're wearing. Other times, you just look like a douche, or more specifically, smell like one. That was a bit of a rant. Back on subject here. This one you can spray really heavy because the performance is not too bad. It's not amazing, but it's not too bad for a citrus forward fragrance. Citrus, of course, doesn't last that long typically, but where this one is just so safe, easygoing, you can spray it on like crazy if you want to, and it's not going to be too overwhelming. Let's keep it citrusy with Amalfi citrus up next from Dunhill. This is one of their signature fragrances, which you can get these for absurd prices nowadays. As of this video, you can get this for $49.99 at Joma Shop. I know, I should have just said 50 bucks. It sounds like on Walmart or something. $49.99. But yeah, 50 bucks, you can get this at Joma Shop. Most of the fragrances in this line you can get for a really cheap price compared to what they were supposed to go for at retail. Apparently that didn't work out so hot because there's a big bunch of them that you can get heavily discounted. This is just great for that price point. Again, $50 is so cheap when you compare that to what fragrances go for at retail nowadays. And frankly, even at discounters, 50 bucks doesn't necessarily go as far as it used to. With the quality that this has and the presentation this has for 50 bucks, it's a steal. So of course, citrus is on order here. It's on tap because the name is Amalfi Citrus. Also got some white florals in there. Quality really nice. A little touch of tartness, like it leans a little bit more toward the tart side of things with the citrus in here, but it smells awesome. A little bit like Artisan Pure from Varvatos, but Varvatos Artisan Pure is like a little bit softer, and this is a little bit zingier than that one is, and this one's a little bit louder as well. And it also has a little soapiness to it, a little soapiness underneath. This is the one I'm highlighting, but in general, I would say just this entire line. Check them out because there's a whole bunch of them, and in general, for the price point they're going for now, they are all a good buy. Before we head to the next one, here are some codes I'd like to share with you in case you shop at any of these fine establishments. Bragflex GS25, buy one, get one, 25% off. That scales up, so the more you buy, the more you get 25% off, and that's run by the same people that do fragrance buy, so check them out. Triple Traders has a ton of clone fragrances, and Max Aroma has Gents 10 and Gents 20. Try Gents 20 first. If it doesn't work, try Gents 10. And of course, Twisted Lily. Can't forget them. Gents 10, 10% off there. Here we go. Next one, Baldessarini Signature. Another one, real cheap. This one you can find for about 25 bucks or so. That's for the 50 ml size. If you get the 90 ml, which is what this one is, you're closer to like 35, so still pretty cheap. Now this fragrance is going to remind you of a couple of different scents, Mont Blanc Explorer and also Aventus, because if it smells similar to Explorer, that means it also smells a little bit similar to Aventus. Really nice sweetness off the top. That fruity sweetness actually comes through a little bit more for me in here than it does in Explorer. Explorer, I would say, has a little more focus on that like fresh spiciness melding with the fruity sweetness. This one, not quite as much on that fresh spiciness and a little more on the fruity side, but still pretty similar to Explorer. And Explorer is a scent that has been getting a little more expensive as time has gone on. It's still not super expensive or anything like that from discounters, but it's not as cheap as it used to be. So something like this is a really good one to know about because you can get it again for 35 bucks or less, under 30 if you get the 50 ml, and it's gonna give you that same versatility, same usability, same compliment factor as Explorer. So yeah, Signature, you should know that one. Next up, we got one for my friends at Michael Malul, Agar and Myrrh, or Agar Plus Myrrh. So this one is perfumed by Ilias Hermanidis, who actually did one of my fragrances, Jet Black Enigma. And by the way, my new fragrances, Edgewater and West Loop, in every Perfumania and every fragrance outlet store in the country. Stop in, check them out, or you can order them online down below. Use that code GENTSCENTS for those to save some money. So this one right here reminds me a little bit of Oud for Greatness. It's kind of in that style, in that wheelhouse, the way that the oud comes across in here. It's a little bit like that. So it has that sort of sweetness. And because of that little bit of a similarity to Oud for Greatness, you might also find a little bit of a similarity to Baccarat Rouge 540. To me, it doesn't really smell at all like BR 540. The reason I bring that up is because some people find a similarity between Oud for Greatness and BR 540, so you can kind of connect all the dots there. Really nicely done, masculine tinge to it, projects well, gets you noticed. It's a really easy introduction into an oud fragrance. So lovely stuff here from Michael Malul, and we move on. Let's go next with Tobacco Honey from Guerlain. This stuff is expensive. That's really the only drawback that I can say is that it's gonna cost you a pretty penny. So this one is gonna run you close to $400, which I just sprayed out $5 just then. Not really, I think. But this is amazing as far as just being an extremely wearable, easygoing, sweet, warm, kind of honeyed pipe tobacco scent. Now, it's not really pushing the envelope, trying to do something crazy unique, and I do have tobacco fragrances, niche tobacco fragrances, that are much more realistic smelling as far as just being a straight up tobacco. But this is just that perfect, cozy, warm, sexy, alluring kind of Hollywood tobacco where it doesn't have to be exactly realistic, it can be kind of fantastical. Honey, tobacco, tonka, vanilla, yeah, sweet, warm, smells good. Chrome Pure up next. Doesn't get talked about all that much. To be fair though, chrome fragrances in general don't get talked about a huge amount. This one is still pretty cheap from discounters. I think it's kind of in that $30 range, maybe a little bit above, a little bit below, depending on where you're shopping and size of bottle, but yeah, kind of somewhere in there. And this guy right here has kind of a unique scent profile, really. Really nice citrus off the top here, some watery notes in the mid, good amount of tonka in the base. It's just a super pleasant, very easy wearing spring, summertime fragrance that basically nobody really talks about. Not many people out there gonna be wearing this one. Okay, back to niche. We've got this guy, Amouage Jubilation 40. That's right, it's no longer Jubilation 25. It's Jubilation 40. Jubilation 25 by Amouage, of course, long has been heralded as one of the go-to opulent, rich, sophisticated men's niche fragrances. And this is all of that. The resins here are deep and heavy and rich and bold. It smells super expensive. I don't get quite as much of the like tart blackberry off the top, but you can easily tell that this is still Jubilation at the end of the day. And excellent release. It smells great. It's just, once again, the price point. The price point here is high, as you would expect from Amouage and also from an extrait released by Amouage. But this is taking that DNA from the original Jubilation 25 and just dialing everything up and just making it so much deeper. So if you're a fan of the original, you should check this one out. If you're thinking about buying that one and you're kind of iffy, absolutely sample it first. You know, those are big buys. So make sure you are set in stone that you want it beforehand. Uomo, Valentino, not born in Roma, just the original. This one has hazelnut, it has chocolate, it has coffee, leather. It was a little bit ahead of its time almost, in a way. And what I mean by that is you have so many fragrances nowadays that are coming out with this like chestnut, hazelnut, caramel, toffee kind of vibe. And when this one came out, there really weren't all that many fragrances from it on the market doing that. Now, this does have similarities to Dior Homme, the original, not Dior Homme 2020, and Dior Homme Intense. So if for some reason you're a fan of those, but you haven't smelled this one, you absolutely should. And also Valentino Uomo Intense. This is one of my favorite designer fragrances that basically completely got passed over by the fragrance house because Valentino obviously took the Uomo line and said, okay, that's cool, that's nice, but we're doing Born in Roma now. So that can just go that way, and we're gonna do this, thanks. But I still like to bring these up from time to time because they are awesome. Valentino Uomo and Intense, and also Aqua. I liked Aqua a lot too. 1 Million Lucky up next. Just a killer scent, isn't it? Just really gets the job done in about any situation. Has decent amount of sweetness, but not too heavy. Another one that makes use of kind of a nuttiness in there. So these two got that going on, but they don't smell similar at all. Also has plum, kind of an ozonic feel to it. Really good one that you can wear daytime or nighttime, spring, summer, fall. Good performance, big compliment puller, and actually a pretty decent seller as well, at least in the US. Out of everything that I'm gonna talk about here today, that is the best-selling one. So 1 Million Lucky, more people know about this one than the others as far as, again, sales goes, but you should still know about it. Then we got this guy, Brioni Eau de Parfum Eclat. This has drawn some comparisons to Terre d'Hermes, believe it or not. And I can sort of see it. I've said this before, but when you very first spray this one on and you smell it, you can get this kind of like clean sort of vetiver scent profile. And it's a little bit reminiscent of Terre d'Hermes if you kind of ramped up the minerality and you got rid of the earthiness and changed the orange out for a more sparkling grapefruit. So not really super like Terre d'Hermes, but I can kind of see where it's coming from, where people are coming from. So yeah, you've got a nice sparkly citrus in the opening, a very clean woodiness that comes across. And again, you could kind of take that as a vetiver-ish type of note. But really what makes this one is a very nice, clean rose that comes out and helps accent that citrus off the top. And then as it dries down, this clean white muskiness mixing together with clean woods as well. So it has that classiness that Terre d'Hermes has, that kind of sophisticated feel to it, but it's also very fresh and uplifting. And the bonus, Golden Moka from Xerjoff. So the name is Golden Moka and it has coffee in the note breakdown, so you would think that this is gonna be like a big coffee beast, you know, a big blast of roast coffee, but in actuality, when you smell it, it's more citrus, kind of sweet citrus and like a bubbly green undertone. So it's very sweet, fresh, and kind of clean, really. So it may not be what you expect from the name and the note breakdown, but that's kind of how it comes across. The coffee comes out more as it dries down, but this is not a fragrance that I think for a lot of people is going to be in their minds as like, you know, one of the must-own coffee scents, because there's so many other things that kind of take the front of the show, the front of the stage. Front of the show, let's go, boys. Still smells great though, really wonderful, very easy to wear once again, and one that you could really pull off about year round, honestly, because it has enough of that citrus and that kind of green feel to it that I could pull it off in summer. Maybe it wouldn't go super heavy, but I could do it. There we go, some fragrances for you need to know about. Need these in your life. I want to thank you guys for hanging with me here today. Stay safe out there, and I will see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.